Right there guys, today I'm going to be making a leather sheath for the MORA Companion. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube at the moment, a lot out there where they're doing the paracord to fit the ferro rod. I like them, there's a lot of really good ones out there. I just so happen to have 3 pairs of altberg leather boots. These ones I've had for donkey's years now, and there's literally no tread left on them. And thinking last night about some ways that you could maybe do some modifications to the MORA. Thinking leather. I haven't really seen any on there where they're using leather to put a leather strap around the sheath where you could then put your ferro rod. So bearing in mind that these are knackered, I've got 2 other pairs anyway. I'm going to experiment with these and I'm going to cut them up, get the leather off them and see if we can work them to put on the MORA and the axe. We'll definitely have enough to make a sheath for the MORA Companion. So fingers crossed, should be able to make something decent out of that. And then if there is enough, I thought maybe might be able to make a sheath cover for the blade and maybe an overstrike. If there's enough, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. It's the first go at trying this, so if it fails, it fails. Nothing lost. But yeah, I thought I'd record it, and if it works out well, then you guys can give it a crack. Thanks a lot. I'll update along the way with pictures and the video and see how it goes. Take it easy. So I've just cut up the boot. Would have been like this. It's now like this. What I found is after cutting around on the top of the rand, all around the boot, so right around the top of the rand, remove the upper boot, obviously take the laces out. What I've done is with the blade, really fine blade, so like so, as I've just got in under all the stitches on the back, like so, and then it's literally been peeling away nicely. And then remove this back bit here, and if you can see, you've got all this softer leather here. It's a lot more workable than this stuff here for wrapping around the MORA, for instance. So this stronger bit of leather here around the boot, that can just all pick off as well. And then when you've picked it all off, you've got this nice big bit of leather here. It's all nice and supple. And after measuring it against the MORA, I've got enough to do like 2 MORA knives, as you can see, loads of it. So really happy with that. So I'm going to trim it down a bit, square it off. And more importantly, what I like is all this stitching that's on the back. It's going to give it a nice feature. So should look pretty good. The tongue as well I've took off, because the tongue's got more of this softer leather just here, which is going to be good to use. But more importantly, on the tongue you've got this bit here, just here, which is where the lace would go through the boot. You can see that there. So this bit here, what I'm going to do is remove that bit by cutting it back here and then cutting it back there so it stays as one piece. And then I'll cut the other one off the other boot, and then I'm going to stitch both of them onto the face of leather. And then when I wrap it around and then stitch it neatly to the sheath, you will have them 2 eyelets there to slot the ferro rod into. So I'm going to get on with that, and then I'll come back to you and show you how it's getting on. Thanks a lot. Cheers. On to the next part now, guys. Cut my leather, so this is all squared off, measured up what I would need to wrap around the MORA sheath. Just give you a bit of an idea. So for example, that will wrap around, and then it will get stitched at the back down the centre, so it will look like so. And then this bit here that I've cut will be for the ferro rod, which will be stitched kind of like so, which will then all go onto the MORA. Remember, when you're stitching this part to the backing part, that you want to stitch the one side first, down the left or the right, whichever one you want to do, and then remember to put your ferro rod in before you stitch the last side, because you don't want to stitch it down too flat and then you can't get your ferro rod in. So just remember that one, guys. I will get that stitched. And also, with working with leather, if you've got one, I've got a little leather hole punch here that I use for canvas work or anything like that, and I've got a leather needle with some thick canvas cotton, so a non-rotting canvas cotton. So with your leather, you're going to be trying to punch through the leather, absolute nightmare. So with the punch needle, just pre-do your holes, and then it's just going to make the stitching really easy because the holes are already there, and you're just going to be literally passing your needle through the holes that are already there. That's it. So I'll get on with that now, and then we'll come back to it once it's all stitched up. Cheers. Right, so I've got the one side stitched on. So as you can see there, it's all stitched on, ready for the ferro rod to go in. But what I've done is I found a pen that the ferro rod will slot into nicely, and then that will go in there like so, and then that leather I will fold over and now stitch along there, so it will be a nice solid round slot for the ferro rod to slot into. So I'll get that stitched up now, and then we can move on to the next step. Thank you very much. Right guys, that's all stitched on now. So now it looks like that. As you can see, it's got the pen that I used, the pen casing. So depending on what ferro rod you've got, you'll obviously have to have a hunt about, but this one I found is just ideal. I've got just a Ember Rock ferro rod here, and it fits like a glove into there. Gets so far down, and then there's a little bit of a bite where you can give it a little push, and it's not going to be bouncing out of there, and it pulls out just nicely, slots in just nicely. So now the plan is to marry it up to the MORA, kind of see where you want it roughly. It's obviously just all handmade, so on the back then I'm going to tighten it up, see where my holes need to be, and then, for example, I will get it really tight. That's tight there. And then what I will do with the lever punch is I will mark where my holes need to be, push in all the way up, keeping it tight as I go, and then punch, and then remove it, make sure that the holes are punched, so then when we come to put it onto the back with our leather needle, we can then stitch while it's attached to the back. So I'm going to crack on with that now, and we'll have a look at the final product. Thank you. Alright there guys, all the stitching's done now. I'm really happy with it, to be fair, considering it started off in life as an old boot. The MORA knife has now got a nice new ferro rod holder. It's come out really nice. I'm really chuffed with it, to be fair. Stitched on the back, up and over, and then through the loop, and then back on itself, and then through again, just to tighten it down it cinched it down really nice and pulled the lever in tight. So that lever is literally not going anywhere. It is so tight on there, it is unbelievable. As you can see, it's just an Ember Rock ferro rod. Slots in there nice. I've just shaved a little bit off the back, which I'm going to give it a coat of wax just to blend it in with the rest of it. But it now just fits lovely against there. Just locks in nicely against there. As you can see, nice fit. And it actually clips into there as well nicely with that there. So there you go, just a little hack if it can help anyone out. Literally had the idea in my head last night thinking leather, yeah, I'll give it a shot. The boots were going in the bin either way, so might as well try and utilise a bit of the leather off it, and there's the outcome. If you like the video, give it a like. Thanks a lot guys, appreciate it, and just want to mention I am by no means a leather worker or a good sewer or anything like that. Just a bloke who likes to have a few good hacks. Try it out, if it works, spot on. Thanks a lot guys, take care.